What's going on YouTube? My name is ginj-tcg or Chris, and today I'm back with another rogue, mostly single prize deck that's going to revolve around this Scizor that can attack for 1 energy with the punishing Scizor's attack. It does 50 damage for every Pokemon your opponent has in play with an ability, which is a shocking amount. Not only of the meta, but of the amount of like support Pokemon in all of the top meta decks. Punishing Scizor hits like such great math to 1 or 2 shot. I think pretty much everything in the format very consistently. I mean, if you think about it, decks like Charizard only have abilities. Gardevoir should have a couple abilities in play, but you're mostly only attacking single prize Pokemon. So you know, even if they just have Monkey Dory and Gardevoir EX in play, you're going to be taking big KOs on their single prizers and trade very nicely with them. A lot of decks use Ogerpon as an engine, and we're playing it very... I'll get into more of the list, but we're playing a high amount of Gust cards. So if they're playing Ogerpon, chances are they've got 2 or 3 on the bench, maybe even more, so you could just kind of gust those up and abuse those, take some easy KOs on those Pokemon, since we will swing for 210 damage if your opponent has, 4 ability Pokemon in play, which isn't a big ask. We also have 2 copies of Scizor EX. I didn't really want this deck to revolve around Scizor EX. I wanted it to be more of a single prize and just fall back on that one because it could live like Cramorant, Sableye. It swings for massive 2-shot or OHKO damage, and I thought it was a much more like fun attacker for just 1 energy, but having some bulk and a phenomenal attack with Crossbreaker where you can discard 2 energy and do 240 was a really nice backup option to clean up a game or kind of pull you out of a pinch. If you just need to try to tank a shot, you might have more luck with Scizor EX, so I figured 2 copies of it wouldn't be bad at all. And I know we're playing a 4-5 line, which is really odd and you don't see much, but because we're playing 3 copies of Rod and 1 Lana's Aid to pull back Scythers and maybe a Scizor and an energy or 2, I figured, you know what, I don't mind having 5 evolution Pokemon in here because now I need to Rod them less, and I can focus putting more of my recycle materials into looping my Scythers. I'm also playing 1 Mew EX, which I think might be the most cuttable card in this deck, but Genome Hacking is a phenomenal backup attack to use against a surprising amount of decks. It's not super hard to set up. Restart is a great ability, and when you pair it with Bibarel, you can often use a supporter card, draw into a big hand, play Bibarel after you thin it back down, and then thin the Bibarel hand back down, and then you could follow up with a restart ability. So it's not a bad combo at all. I'm also playing a 2-2 Beldum Metang line. I don't think you need any more than this. Honestly, you really don't even need 2 Metangs in play if you don't want, because the single prize Scizor needs 1 energy, and the Scizor EX only needs 2 energy to attack consistently, so even if your Metal Makers are hitting just 1 energy, like, you should be fine. So I didn't feel the need to play a 3-3 or especially not a 4-4 line. That being said, I'm also playing 1 copy of this Metagross with the emergency entry ability. If you drew it at the beginning of your turn, like, you know, for the draw for turn top card of your deck, you could just put it on your bench and then draw 3 cards, which I thought is an awesome ability. And it's not a bad attack. With Meteor Mash, you can do 200 after you've used Meteor Mash the first turn, and it's got 170 HP, so it could 100% live an attack. But not only is emergency entry a good ability, I figured, you know what, for the late game, we might like run into issues where we run out of Scythers, and we need to try to, you know, maybe attack with Metang. We're playing against Stall, and I need something to help cook against Stall. I mean, I could just evolve one of my Tangs into Metagross, and that's going to help that matchup like an insane amount. Because then at that point, if we could fill up our bench with anything but Bibarel, I think this deck can legitimately take Stall very well. So, you know, for the most part, I think the Pokemon list is very streamlined, and the trainers follow suit. We're playing 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffin and 4 Ultra Ball, as well as 2 Nest Ball, just to make sure we're filling up our bench, as well as getting those evolution Pokemon as quick as possible. We're also playing 4 copies of Research and 3 copies of Iono, just to make sure we're drawing into big hands all the time, as well as... Oh, actually, no, I lied. It's 4 copies of Iono. I completely read that. I made the list, like, maybe an hour ago and played like a couple games with it, so I thought I had 3. I lied. I think I had 3 when I first made it, and then I made it 4 because I think, like, the first game I researched away 2 Iono because my opponent had a small hand. I'm like, no, I just want 4 because I'm not playing Palpat or anything like that. So we've got 4 copies of Iono, so for mid and late game we can hopefully disrupt our opponent a good bit, and care a bit less about, you know, if we disrupt our own hand, because we've got Bibarel, and it's a very easy thing to fall back on when you get Iono to our Iono yourself. We're also playing 1 copy of Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking. I thought this card was amazing. I'm not playing a Radiant in this deck. I guess if I had to pick a Radiant, you could pick Greninja to help with Codebreaking, but I figured with Bibarel, Restart, and honestly just putting 2 Metal Energy on top of the deck for Metal Makers, there wasn't really a big need for any Radiant in specific, since I couldn't use many as attackers. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't think there was any one Radiant that could just crack out this deck, but if I had to put in one, it would probably be Greninja instead of Mew EX. I just like the option of having genome hacking over that, so I figured I'd rock with Mew. For our ace spec, we're playing Prime Catcher on top of our 3 boss, just to ensure we're gusting up as many Pokemon we need to fix our math as possible. I mean, you know, this deck can 2-shot pretty much everything comfortably, but if I could take like a Gust KO on a Rotom V, Luminion, an Ogerpon on the bench, I figured I'd want to go for that more, and then I'll deal with 2-shotting a Charizard, a Dragapult, you know, whatever else later. So, you know, that's kind of my reasoning for that. We got 2 copies of Jamming Tower. I think it is an absolutely insane tech card right now. I think it goes in unnecessarily hard and could save you out of a lot of situations if your opponent can't afford Steel Stone or use Heavy Baton to recycle energy after using Iron Hands. So all around, I just think it's a great stadium card for the deck, and a lot of decks are playing their own Artisan, so I didn't think I needed to play mine because I'm just trying to scum Artisan off other people. On top of that, we've also got 12 energy to close out the list. 12 energy, 3 rod, really all you need. I mean, yes, your Metal Makers are most likely never going to be hitting 3 or 4 that often, but you only need 1 or 2 for this deck, so that is totally fine if that's all I'm hitting on pretty much all of my games. And yeah, with that, that's pretty much it for the list. I am absolutely in love with this list. I think it's a super fun rogue deck right now, and it does pretty well into a shocking amount of lists, and it's very affordable. So if you're looking for a cheaper list to play to help you get into the games, do pretty well at a locals, honestly, be like a legitimate contender at a local tournament, even bring it to a higher level tournament, I think this deck has some serious potential with it. So I mean, let's get into the video, but before we do, real quick, I just wanted to give another shout out to the podcast my buddies and I just made a couple days ago. It's called the Battle VIPs Podcast, and it is its own playlist on my channel. If you guys wanted to go check it out, we're going to be doing a bi-weekly meta review, and then we're going to be playing a fun game in the middle of it, which we'll segment into the back half of it, which is more about just big news in the TCG at the moment. And in our last episode, we talked about Shrouded Fable and the upcoming cards we are super excited to see. So if you guys wanted to check that out and hear a bit more about what we think the top decks are, the top rogue decks, top tech cards for decks, I mean, definitely go give it a listen. Play it in the background while you're just, you know, doing some house cleaning or anything like that, and maybe, who knows, you can help, like, learn a thing or two, or help correct us if we're bums and messed everything up, and we totally got the top 7 decks wrong, or the top 3 rogue decks wrong, which is a big possibility for us goons. So, you know, that being said, thank you so much for all the support on my recent videos. I seriously cannot tell you how much it means to me, so let's see if we can pick up a positive record with Scizor in today's video. Welcome to match number 1, where we open up with a decent hand, and we're staring down an Ogerpon, which might be good for us, because I think any deck with Ogerpon might be a bit of a better match than most. So what do I want to do here? Let me double check my hand. Honestly, I don't hate using Ultra Ball this turn, and just trying to get a Bidoof down, because if I could try to evolve all 3 next turn, I think we'd be in a much better spot. So for now, let me attach the energy here, and I know it hurts a bit getting rid of Ciphermaniacs, but it's okay. And we do play 4 different gusting cards, so getting rid of 1, I think I can live with. I just really want to get a Bidoof down so I can evolve it next turn. And we did prize a Scyther, so that definitely hurts a little bit. But I think if we could attack with 3 Scythers and, you know, just loop once or twice, that's fine. That's more or less all we need. So, not bad. Not a bad starting hand at all for, I think, pretty much any deck that plays Ogerpon. Because as long as we can attack with Scyther next turn, I'm fairly confident that we might be able to take a KO on Ogerpon, but I think more importantly, we'll be able to set up our board more And, like, it's okay if we didn't get multiple Scythers down this turn. I don't think our Scyther will be getting KO'd. I mean, famous last words. And we could just, you know, take a turn, get some more Scythers and play next turn, and then just evolve them from there. And it might be a Raging Bolt deck based on the Electric Energy discard from Greninja. I'm hoping they get Squawk down, because that's a really, really easy prize liability to KO with, like, a late game boss or Prime Catcher with Scyther. We only need 3 abilities in play to take 2 prizes, which is super, super nice. So our opponent's going to play the Sada, just get the 1 energy, but honestly, they might only need 1 if they have a fighting energy in hand. They could take a KO on Beldum, which hurts a bit, but I think we can work around it if we have a really big pop-off turn next turn. If they don't take a KO, not bad. I mean, we could get Iono them, put them at 1 this card than what's in their hand, which could be nice, and our opponent might be hesitant to play more Ogerpons down, because all that means is more abilities in play. And they play down the single prize Sandy Shocks, which I am not worried about at all. It's not one-shotting our Scizors. So that's fine. That is fine by me. And here's a Nest Ball, hopefully for another Ogerpon, so we could swing for 100, what is it, 160 damage? 2-shotting everything, and I think that would be great if we could start 2-shotting some Raging Bolts and then deal with some Ogerpons later in the game. But we'll see what they got. We also do resist grass. So, ooh, Squawk. Alright, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see hit the floor. And they only chose to keep 1 Ogerpon in play. So I think our opponent might be a little fearful of leaving a lot of Ogerpons in play and leaving space for them because they know about punishing Scizor's attack. But that means their draw power is super, super limited. So they're going to pass here, and I like the Buddy-Buddy Poffin top deck. I mean, with this, I can take Scyther, and I don't hate another Beldum. I might try to get 1 Scizor EX in play, just try to OHKO a Raging Bolt. So having 2 Beldum could be nice at any point, and I think here we're just going to rip the Iono and hope we could get Energy and Scizor, and then rock from there. Energy to retreat, specifically. And we do, actually. We get pretty much everything I wanted to see, which is pretty nice. So with this hand, what do I want to do? I don't really want to Ultra Ball away a second boss, but I might have to get rid of a Scyther this turn. I have 3 Rod and 1 Lana's Aid, so I don't hate getting rid of a Scyther for now, and I'll get it back very, very fast because one Scyther is prized. And I want to take, what do I want here? I could go Scizor EX, take an early 2 prize lead. You know, that might actually work out really, really well for us. But you know what? We don't necessarily guarantee we'll get a Beldum. So I think it would be safer to just take a single prize for now. Just force a bit of a longer game. That way we can attach and just manually retreat. Guarantee we're swinging for solid damage, and then we'll draw 4. And if I get Scizor EX and Metang, that's fine. I'm just trying to play it a little bit safer for our first game. And, man, I mean, we more or less got it. That's actually crazy. That's not a bad hand at all. I could play the Buddy-Buddy Poffin. I think I'm going to hold it and see what our opponent does for next turn. If they take a KO, I am very okay with Ultra Balling away Scizor EX and probably the top deck for the, what would I need, Metang the most. Because I got Scizor EX, I could take a KO and Raging Bolt next turn pretty easy. So our opponent's going to get their 1 and only Teal Dance per turn off right now, and then draw a card, and I'm curious to see if they have Sada. They also need Fighting Energy and discard, which they don't have. So they could get it off this and take a KO on Scizor, but I think we'd have a pretty good follow-up for next turn. And you know what I just realized, actually? Because we Ultra Balled our 1 Scyther, if they take a KO here, we'd actually be on our last Scyther, because 1 is prized. So I think after this match, I'm considering switching out one of the Nest Balls for a Heavy Ball, but I'm not sure if I want to. That is something I didn't run into in my 2 warm-up games, but it's definitely something that could be a bit of a problem. And them putting a Bravery Charm on Ogerpon is preferred, because that Raging Bolt is still in KO range from Scizor EX's, what's it, Crossbreaking attack? Yeah, Crossbreaker. So as long as the active Raging Bolt doesn't hit a tool, we should be okay going into next turn. And if we're not, I can 100% maybe even boss up, like, no, I think I just would have to go for a KO on the active to put us in the best spot. But I think we can 100% do that. I think that's a very, very realistic thing that can happen as long as our Metang is decent or our Bibarel is decent. We just need one or the other. And ideally, like, Lana's Aid would be, I think, the best supporter we could ask for right now. Lana's Aid would go super, super hard because we could take back 2 Scythers and probably an Energy, I think, would be my next bet with it. So, our opponent's going to take a big KO there, leaving us on our last Scyther since one is prize. And we have 4 ways to recover Pokemon in our deck. I'm fairly confident we can hopefully find a Rod this turn, which would be big. Iona's nice. Their hand is a little big. I don't mind getting rid of the rest of my hand. I can Ultra Ball away Buddy-Buddy Poffin, maybe? It's a nice card to keep in the deck, but just to guarantee I get him a Metang, I think that would work in our favor the most. So let's take Metang, and I could Iono, or Bibarel 3 more right now. I think that actually, like, we go Bibarel, Metang, then Iono. I think I like them most. And there's Lana's Aid. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Metal Maker now, because if I get an energy, one energy off Metal Maker, I'm just going to Lana's Aid instead of Iono, and I'll play Iono next turn. Actually, we just got both Metal Makers, so I need one of these Metal Makers to hit 1 or 2 energy, and I think we'll be in a super fine spot. Never mind, there's both of them right there. Alright, well, that's sweet. So, since we hit that, let's Lana's Aid, get back all of the Pokemon we need. I could take an energy here. I also don't mind taking Scizor here and just keeping it in the hand for next turn. You know what? Let's do that. I could look for rods. I could look for rods to get back energy. And if we're just attacking with Scizor for the rest of the game, which there's a big possibility that's all we're doing, I'm not going to need much energy at all. I just need 1 off Metal Maker or 1 from Researches and Iono. So we whiffed this Metal Maker, but that's fine. Because I like where we're sitting a lot right now. I'm going to Crossbreaker for 240 on the dot and KO our opponent's active Raging Bolt very, very comfortably, which should put us in a very decent position going forward. They're going to have to work a bit harder to KO a Scizor EX and take 2 prizes, but if they do that, they might actually have to put another Ogerpon in play, which would mean would we be in KO range? Yeah, I think that would mean we could just boss KO a Teal Mask Ogerpon with the single prize Scizor, which we could have in hand if our Metal Makers hit. So there it is. Actually, I think we've got the line to close out the rest of the game, and it might just be promote Scyther, evolve it. We just want to get 1 energy on the Scizor, and I could just boss up a single prize or a 2 prize Teal Mask Ogerpon since we are swinging for Oko at the moment, and then I can dig for another boss's orders or Prime Catcher and chase down Squawkabilly. And just let our opponent KO what they need, because I think at this point in the game I only want the single prize Scizor in play. So Scizor EX did its job, got us 2 prizes, made our opponent have to dig a little harder, get a bunch of energy in play that second Ogerpon down to make sure they got the KO, and they'll drop down to 3, but I'm hoping I could win in the next 2-ish turns. And it's definitely possible. I could even follow up with an Iono, but I think overall, just taking a boss KO on Ogerpon would be the safest play, and I could research. I don't necessarily need to Iono our opponent, as long as we're drawing really well and making sure we're just attacking for the next 3 turns after this one. And even if we do it in 2, there's a chance we could do it in 2 turns as well, depending on what our top decks are and our B-barrels. Like if we get Prime Catcher or something like that off any of the next top decks, or, maybe if we're able to get some cards to thin and use B-Barrel, we could just have game in hand without ever needing to research our Iono, which is a kind of nice option to have in a deck like this. Just let our opponent do whatever they want. They probably won't want to Iono us because their hand will be massive and they'll have what they need to make sure they're playing well. But if we only keep single prizes in play, they're going to have a really, really rough time of making sure they're swinging well going forward. So we just need one of these Metangs to hit. If one of these Metangs hit, we're chilling. So let's promote Scyther here. And let's see what we top deck. Hopefully something we could use pretty well. Jamming Tower, actually, I like a lot. And I'll play that now. I might as well. And let's use these Metal Makers. If we don't... Oh, we do hit... Oh my god, 2 energy. Alright, so we got 2 set up Scythers ready to rumble right now. So, what do I want to do here? I can evolve, and I think we just go boss. Let me check how much damage we're swinging for real quick. So, we evolve this guy, and we're swinging for... It should be 210. Yep, 210 on the dot. So, you know what? Let me just boss right now. Let me bring this guy up, and I can Bibarel for 1. I could put down another Bidoof just to help with draw. And you know what? I think I'm going to try to close the game out with these 2 Scythers, so I don't hate that option at all. And now let me Industrious Incisors for 2, which might not necessarily be... Never mind. It's absolutely massive. That was an amazing Bibarel for, like, 0 reason. And I'm going to put the energy here just because we still do have Metagross. And I could rip another Metang. Might as well. See if I can fully set up this Metang here, and we're pulling all the energy we need. So that is not bad. I probably should have been checking these Metangs just to keep up on, you know, if I saw Prime Catchers on the bottom of the deck or not, but that's fine. I just want to thin the deck as much as possible to raise our chances the most in getting Prime Catcher. And we've got double Bibarel as well as Research next turn, so I like our chances a bit. Depending on what these prize cards are, we might even... Okay, so we got the other Scyther. I'm hoping we don't need it. Because our hand might be a bit harder to thin, I think I'm just going to Research next turn. Do what I can to thin and then just Research. Just call it a day. But our opponent, I would assume, would promote Raging Bolt here. I don't think it would make much sense to promote Sandy Shocks. Okay, they do. Which is fine. I mean, they could swing with Sandy Shocks, but they're not going to KO us. And it'll just give me another turn to look for Prime Catcher, which... I hope is in the deck. Honestly, I really didn't prize check that well. I prize checked to see how many Scythers we had. I really didn't care much at all for finding a Prime Catcher, which I might live to regret, but it's alright. I'll make it work. I mean, our opponent's in a rough spot. You know, if they promote Raging Bolt and they... I guess that could work. I don't know. Maybe we could have left our other Scizor unevolved. But we did already discard both Scizor EXs, so, you know, we could have done that to try to Rod and Ultra Ball and maybe swing with breaking, what is it, Crossbreaker, I think the attack is. I keep forgetting it, Crossbreaker, but I think we can rock without it. This is a two prize liability. We're rocking a single prize deck. That was the goal with it. And I'm going to start abusing opponents for playing Squawkabilly. Because if they're playing Squawkabilly, that's way too easy to KO. And I'm about to punish them for it. So our opponent's going to get a big gear off here. I'm assuming they'll find a Sada they whiff. Do they just have all the Sada in hand? I mean, their hand is massive right now. No, there's only 1 left in the deck. So you know what? There's a chance it could be prized. I mean, I get it. I did prize a Scyther, and we both played 4 copies of the same thing. So the odds are the same of prizing a Sada or a Scyther. And here's the Ultra Ball. They get rid of Cornerstone Ogerpon, which we could 100% deal with. They could have played that down. We're chilling. We don't got... I mean, yeah, they could, like, you know, take Bibarels and stuff, but, I mean, that's another ability in play. So, that's a fun little saying. And they choose to put down another Ogerpon, which means we can now boss up Squawk or Ogerpon for the victory. And I think I'm fine with that. I don't think our opponent has the best outlook. We definitely have the upper hand. Because we got, like, 2... Oh, there's the last Sada. So, I'm curious what they wanted to look for with that here. Maybe Boss's Orders? There's 1 in discard. I'm pretty sure Raging Bolt plays 2. That could have been a big possibility on what they were looking for. And here's the Pokemon Catcher. I don't think losing any Pokemon in specific would hurt us that much. Like, if they take Bibarel, we have another Bibarel in hand. If they take Metangs, okay. I mean, we got all the energy we should need in play, and they whiff 2 Pokemon Catchers. So, that is amazing. I don't know what they were necessarily going for, but if they're whiffing Pokemon Catchers, I am chilling. So, let's see what they can do to finish out the turn. I would assume it's just a retreat KO with Raging Bolt, but I'm not 100% sure. They're just going to concede. Yeah, I think that's fine. We 100% had that game on lock. I mean, we had Research, 2 Bibarels. I'm pretty sure Prime Catcher was in the deck. Even if it wasn't, we could have just 2-shot at Raging Bolt. It would have been no big deal. We had plenty of time to make it work. So that's going to wrap it up for a really easy and a really great showcase for match number 1 on just how powerful the single prize Scizor is. Welcome to match number 2. Our opponent has taken a mulligan and playing Charizard EX. So this matchup I think could be a little harder just because of Charizard's sheer bulk, but they also play an insane amount of abilities. So I'm hoping that we can just loop our Scythers and 2-shot our opponent's Charizards well if they build a big enough bench up. And I think that's going to really come down to how much they pop off in turn 1 if they choose to play a lot of abilities or not. Like if they choose to just keep like 2-3 Charmanders unevolved on the bench, 1 Pidgeot, and that's really it, it's going to be a bit harder. We're probably going to have to go more into Scizor EX, and they do only get 2 Charmanders down. So that hurts a little bit, but we kind of have a banger of a hand to start. And I don't even know if I necessarily want to Iono or research this turn. I could research just to dig farther. I don't want to Iono because our opponent doesn't seem to have the best of starts. And I think it would be better for us if we just research and maybe try to set up our board a little more, just dig a little farther in our deck. I think it could help in the later game if we had dug farther. So let's do that. And with Buddy-Buddy Poffin, I think I want to go, what, Scyther Beldum? Yeah, we got both Metangs. We do have both Bibarels. We did prize a single prize Scizor, and yeah, it's not in hand, but we do have 2 double prize EXs, so we should be okay on that regard. And we've only got 8 energy left in the deck, but we've got Rod, so we could just Rod back some energy if we need, and we have an energy in hand, so I think this is fine. And I chose to take a Scyther off the Buddy-Buddy Poffin and not just play the one in my hand, just because I think, you know, just thinning it out of the deck will make possible Metangs or Bibarels draw into, have just slightly better odds on drawing into something I might need a bit more, which could be, I don't know, like a Boss's Orders, or maybe I need an Iono at some point, or anything like that. And they're playing Entei, which hurts because it's a fire Pokemon and we're weak to that, but at the same time, it's got an ability which just boosts our Scyther a little more. And if our Scyther's getting KO'd, or Scizor's getting KO'd, it's fine. It's a single prizer. It doesn't really matter too much if it gets one shot, as long as we could just keep looping Scythers back very well. So we'll see what our opponent can do. I'm hoping to get just a little bit more abilities in play. I really want to just be comfortably two-shotting Charizards. Which hurts because, you know what, we do 160 if they have 3 abilities in play. We need 4 abilities at some point in the game to two-shot a Charizard, but Pidgeot could potentially get one shot, and Entei does help. So you know what? I think we'll be alright. I think we can totally be okay. Maybe this is a turn where I go Scizor EX and just try to take a massive KO on our opponent's Entei V. That could be really, really big for us. Maybe then our opponent will think we're playing the Scizor EX deck and play maybe a Bidoof or Rotom or something with abilities. I doubt they'll play Rotom at this point since they're attacking, but maybe they'll play like a Bibarel Engine or something like that, which could be pretty big. So our opponent's going to Burning Rondo here for a massive KO. I mean, we are weak to fire, and that Entei was ready to rumble. So let's promote Scyther here. And let's see what we can do on our turn. I have a feeling we're going to need to Iono. You know what? I'm going to evolve this guy. And I'm going to put the energy on the active, I think. Because I could always just try to go for Metang and attack with Punishing Scissors if I need to. So let me attach the energy here. And then Iono now. And hopefully get Ultra Ball or Scizor EX. And I think that would put us in the best scenario it could. And we got absolutely everything I wanted to see. Except for, I guess, a Bibarel. But I have Ciphermaniacs. And with Metang in play, I don't really think I need to draw anything too crazy for next turn. So this could be alright. Oh my god, Bibarel was the top deck. And now it's on the bottom of the deck. Brutal game. Brutal game. You hate to see that, but that's alright. And we have the Metang to make it even better. So for now, let's just Crossbreaker. Let's swing 240. Take a big 2-prize KO. And without Defiance Band, I think Scizor EX might be able to live a shot. Unless they rot back Entei, in which case, like, whatever. I'll just take it out again. And we get Research here, actually. So that's a phenomenal prize card. That'll definitely keep us in the game and just rolling a bit forward. Not that we're out of the game, but keep us rolling forward a bit faster. So our opponent's going to promote Charizard. Going to get a big Arven here. I'm hoping Pidgeot comes down. I really need to see some more abilities in play. Just to feel a little bit more comfortable. And they get Rare Candy as well as TM Devo. So I'm hoping that Rare Candy goes to Pidgeot, because that's an ability that's going to sit complacent for a while. Charizard's not bad. Not bad at all. But Pidgeot's just, honestly, Pidgeot's kind of nice because I know that ability ain't going anywhere. I most likely won't be KOing a Pidgeot unless I'm one-shotting it. So, you know, it's sitting there, just helps boost my my single prize Scizor's damage. It's so weird. There's like 2 different Scizors in the deck, so I'm constantly switching between what I'm talking about. And I like how, like, I wanted to rely more on the single prize one, and I think for the most part I do. But I feel like all the games I've played with this deck, once a game I'm using the EX card. Just because it's got such a good Crossbreaker attack that you don't mind using once or twice if you have to. And our opponent's just going to use Burning Darkness there, which is absolutely fine for us. Because we get Bibarel off the other top deck. That is huge. So let's rip Do I want a Metang first or research? How many energy do we have in the discard? We'll have 3 in the discard, so we're not going to have much in the deck at all. So I think I'd rather... Oh, you know what? I could Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking here. And just hold the research, because then I could take 2 energy. And I think that'll work really, really well for us. So let's do that. Let's take... What do we want? We want probably 2 energy. I don't think I really need anything else. Because I could put an energy on this guy. And... Because I know my Metang is hitting a minimum 2. And that's fine. That's really all we need. So, you know what? Let's Metal Make it right now. Let's guarantee that we're using Scizor EX to attack again, which should make it a lot easier for the single prize one to take a KO next turn. And let's just Bibarel for 2 right here, see what we could draw into. Hopefully something nice. Lana's Aid is not bad. Now that I think about it, Lana's Aid goes kind of crazy. I don't know if we'll play it. There's a decent chance, honestly, we don't play it. But swinging for 240 here is really nice, because next turn, the single prize Scizor will be swinging for 110 damage, which is fine maths. I mean, we only need 90 more to KO, so not bad at all. And if they choose to play Pidgeot EX, I mean, then we're swinging 160. So that'll be... we don't need it, but it's nice to know we've got just another ability in play to keep our damage up. And this is why Charizard might be a little difficult. You know, they play a lot of abilities to, like, in 99% of games, but I guess if they don't want to, they could just play off Charizard EX. It might be a little more bricky. Like, Iono might go crazy next turn if I could get it. I'm hoping here's Rick. I mean, I'm not... It hurts. Like, I'm hoping it's Rare Candy Pidgeot for damage, but it's also Pidgeot, so, like, it's really annoying if they always have Pidgeot, because then they get whatever they want. And it's a bit less bricky. So Iono would go... Iono gets, like, worse and worse the more Pidgeots and Bibarels and stuff they have in play, but also better and better if they choose not to play abilities, like they seem to be doing now, to limit how much damage we're doing with Scizor. The single prize one again. So, that's fine. I mean, we're taking a big KO here, and we'll drop down to 2 prizes, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's really all we wanted to see here. So, I almost put that energy on the active. We don't need to do that. Honestly, how many Scizors do you have in discard? Just 2. We got 4 metal energy in discard as well, which I don't necessarily know if I want to use. I think I kind of want to just research here and see what I could get off that. We might have to use... Actually, no, I don't even know what we could use here. We kind of just need a massive... We need them to put more abilities in play. We're going to have to, like, boss something next turn. Try to take a big KO with that. So for now, let's just put a whole bunch of energy in the deck. Make our Metangs a little bit more effective. And I don't even hate setting up Metang. I mean, it's a nice single prize attacker that might honestly be doing more damage depending on how many abilities they have in play than Scizor. So let me do that. Let's get 1 energy. Where do we want to put it? Let me put it honestly on the Metang. It's crazy, but it's fine. I think once like a Metagross EX comes out, this deck is going to be absolutely insane. And I don't know if I want to evolve this guy. Actually, if I put another 2 prize Pokemon in play, our opponent will win insanely easy, I feel like. So I don't know if I want to do that. But I think I'll hold off just for now. I'll just wait and see what the play is next turn. For now, let's swing for KO, take 2 prizes, and I like where we're sitting. This is going to be a close one. This is going to be a really close one for sure. I think it's all going to come down to, does our opponent put more ability Pokemon in play? If the answer is yes, and we can 2-shot a Charizard EX at any point with the single prize Scizor, I think we're chilling. If the answer is no, and we've got to fall back on the 2 prize one, we might be cooked. And you know what? I just realized I should have evolved Scizor. I was thinking, oh, I don't need to. We've only taken 2 prize cards. You know, they're not one-shotting Scizor EX. But I just took 2 prize cards after that. I kind of forgot about that. So, hopefully they don't Iono here. I mean, if they do, we have Bibarel, so we'll be okay. But I'm not sure what the play is going forward from here. Honestly, let's see. They'll take a KO. They'll drop down to 2 prize cards. You know what I could do? This is a wild play. I could just boss up Pidgeot to take a KO, or Pidgey take a KO, and see, maybe our opponent will take like a Bidoof down this turn, and then we could just boss up Charmander to take Monkey Dory. Ooh, that's actually really, really nice, because now I think I've got game as long as I could keep Scythers in play, which I should be able to because they played Artisan, which is exactly what I said I'm trying to scum off people, but I think since I have 2 boss in hand, I'm going to go boss on Pidgey, And then next turn, I'm going to try to Boss Monkey Dory for game. And we've only got 2 prizers, so that's honestly like a good shout. And we've got the Metang here for Metagross. Yo, actually, this play might go insane. I'm not going to lie, this actually might be the most wild thing I could do. So, what do I want to do here? Let me rod back my Pokemon. Just make sure I got them back in the deck. Not you. I want these guys. And you know what? Honestly, let me just take an energy with this. I don't need much more energy in play at all. So let me thin Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Let me just thin as many cards from the hand as possible. I like taking double Scyther because I know our other Bibarel is sitting right there in the prize card. So let's do that. Let's evolve the active. And what do I want to do here? Probably Metal Maker, see what energy I can get. If I could get, oh my god. Oh my gosh, yeah, we have more than game in hand. Honestly, battle evolve this guy now. Just put him in play now. And I'm going to hold the energy for next turn in case I need to Meteor Mash. You know, it's just a good thing to have. If needed, I could just Ultra Ball it away to go for a Scizor and go for game. For now, let me boss up this Pidgey. Let me swing 110. And next turn, I'll be swinging 110 damage with Scizor, which means it's a KO on Monkey Dory. Because I left, you know, I chose to leave that Charizard and Monkey Dory in play. I don't want to KO it now, and we get Scizor off the prize. Oh my gosh. Alright, we got game in hand. We got Boss, Scizor EX, or not Scizor EX, we have Scizor, which is all we needed. So if our opponent doesn't Iono here, we're in a phenomenal spot. Like, a phenomenal spot if we dodge an Iono, which chances are decently high. I mean, there's no Pidgeot in play. Our opponent hasn't been able to search anything because they really wanted to limit the abilities in play, which I think is fine, but I'll eat my words. We'll get Iono, but I still got Bibarel. So as long as we don't see, like, Prime Catcher this turn, you know, ripping Bibarel is fine. And I could even shuffle the deck with Buddy-Buddy Poffin, as well as thin out another card. So that's a really, not the best top deck, but manageable. And remember, we still have, what? We still got 2 Boss, and, oh my gosh, we got 2 Boss, 4 Ultra Ball, and Prime Catcher. So there's a decent chance we could draw into hopefully what we need to win this next turn. Because if we don't get what we need this turn, we lose. Because our opponent also has 1 prize. So this game is coming down to the wire. For now, though, let's promote Scyther. It's got free retreat, so I can pivot into whoever I need. But it's either I got game or I don't. And we get 2 Buddy-Buddy Poffin. So I'm going to have to thin out the first one and fail it, and then I'm going to play the second one and take out Bidoof to hopefully increase our chances just a little bit more in drawing into what I need. And this Bibarel is going to make or break us. Please don't fail me now. And we're so close. I don't think we got it because we did not get Boss's orders. We didn't hit any of our gusting cards, so that hurts a bit. I could try to Iono and get out the Prime Catcher. Sadly, our other Bibarel is discarded, as well as our Lana's Aid and all our rods. So we're not getting that back at all. So I think, you know what, we might just lose at the very, very end here. I could. It's a long shot, but I think I got a plan to make our odds as good as possible if Prime Catcher's in the deck. Alright, hear me out. I'm going to... Oh my god, actually, I should have taken Metang. Because then I could have thinned 4 cards to the bottom of the deck with Metal Maker that hopefully weren't Prime Catcher. I'm going to Iono. We're either going to get Prime Catcher or we're not. And we don't. So, yeah, that hurts. That's a rough way to go out. I mean, man, that's so rough that Bibarel couldn't just clutch up there. Afraid we did not get it. We are going to lose game number 2, but we went down swinging. And I think this was an awesome. You know what? If I'm losing games like this, so be it. So be it. It's alright. Charizard was definitely going to be a bit of a harder match, and the fact that they didn't play any Pokemon that had abilities, it made it a bit difficult for a Pokemon that relies on that to attack. So the fact that we even made it that far with them, I think having a maximum 2 Pokemon in play with abilities, it's phenomenal. I'll take it. That was an awesome game number 2. We're 1-1. Let's see if we can at least close out with a positive record in match number 3. Welcome to match number 3, where we open up with a phenomenal starting hand. I mean, by phenomenal, we led Scyther and have Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and we are getting all the mulligans this game. I am assuming this is Future Hands, which might be a little bit harder, but I think we can rock. If it's Iron Thorns, like Quad Iron Thorns with Lost City, that could be a bit harder, but they're going 2 Pokemon on the bench. I'm hoping it's just not 2 Thorns. We'll see, though. And it is Future Hands, which is a pretty fun matchup now that I think about it. And oh my god, we got the hand of all hands to get this going. We prize one Beldum. That's alright. We also prize Metang, so like who cares? You know, we'll make it work no matter what. And we're just gonna load up. Oh no, we didn't prize Metang. It's in my hand. Alright, we did prize Beldum though, so it's cool. Let's just get all the Pokemon down we need. And by that, I mean we got 3 Scythers, we got Bibarel, we got Metang in hand. I'm gonna assume they'll take the KO. I'm just gonna put the energy right here. And if they don't take the KO, that's why we got free retreat. And we got Ultra Ball next turn for Scizor as well. So this is another game where I'm probably gonna play one Scizor EX to take a massive KO on like Iron Hands or Iron Crown or something like that, because every Pokemon in this deck has, I think, a max 230 HP. Yeah, because Iron Thorns, Iron Hands, all those guys got 230. Iron Crown's got 220, so it's fine. 240 KO. If they play a tool to beef it up, like Bravery Charm or something like that, I'll just try to dig for Jamming Tower, and I'll wait to use, like, if I see they're playing Charms on Pokemon I'm scared of, like an Iron Hands or something like that, I'll just wait to take out my Scizor EX for when I get Jamming Tower, which I think I have the luxury of doing because our opponent should get a decent amount of abilities in play. And they're just going to peak acceleration for 80, taking the KO. And you know what? I'm actually really tempted to go for a Scizor EX on their hands this turn. That would be a devastating play that's actually really possible. If Metang can hit 1 energy, that's all we need. And they get the grass energy, so they're playing Virizion, which is pretty sweet. I like that a lot. The or not Virizion, the Iron Leaves. The future Virizion, which I can also deal with pretty well. It's a grass attacker. I ain't scared of grass attackers. Let me play another Bidoof down. Let me play, you know what, whatever. It's prize liabilities, who cares? It's Iron Hands threats, that's fine, that's alright. For now, what would help my chances the best? I think let me rip the Metal Maker first, just to let me get an idea of what the play is after that. Let me see if I can hit 1 energy just one time, come on. Perfect, that's exactly what we needed, and Scizor EX was there as well. But we get the 1 energy, and I think here I want to Ultra Ball away Iono and Rod? Take Scizor EX and boss up Iron Hands. And I think that should put us in a really good spot going forward. So let's do that. And I think our opponent is also going to be a little wary of the single prize Scizor, because if they put a bunch of Iron Crowns in play, yeah, they are going to be punished hard. But the reason Iron Hands is scary is because 1 Iron Crown and Ampy Very Much will take 2 prizes off my single prize Scizor. So if I could swing with that Scizor EX, and maybe like in this matchup I might have to rely on it a bit more than I planned, I think that'll work out better for us. So, you know what? I'm not scared at all of Scizor getting KO'd next turn. So I'm actually going to put a 3rd energy here. So next turn, I can boss up another 2-prizer. Because I've got energy boss in hand. So I guarantee to KO on Iron Crown or another Iron Hands if that's what they choose to put in play. Which I think at that point will be home free. I think if we could go up 4 prizes against Iron Crown, any Iron Crown deck, we're chilling. So I like where we're sitting. Let's see what our opponent's got in hand as a response. Iono could be a bit devastating, but I'd imagine they might have more copies of Arven in their deck just to get, like, you know, Techno Radar, Earthen Vessels. Actually, I don't even know if they play many Vessels. They may not, because they'll just go Peak Acceleration. Not sure. But if we could dodge Iono, we're fine. And there's another Iron Crown as well as an Iron Hand. So if I could get a KO again on Iron Hands, we're in a great spot. A phenomenal spot, if you will. So there's the Nest Ball for Iron Thorns. Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, it's perfect because our opponent has... Oh, no, we're doing 210 damage. So we're not KOing Iron Crown just yet. But we do have the boss KO on Iron Hands. So they're going to swing for 100. They'll probably put 2 energy in play on Iron Hands. I would assume that would be the best line for him. And this deck is doing awesome, man. I mean, I am loving how this deck is feeling right now. And they put all the energy on Iron Thorns. So, honestly, they got 1 card in hand. There's only 1 Pokemon that can attack, but it can't even KO. Let's see. Let's put the energy here. Just guarantee the KO. Let me rip the Metal Maker, see if there's anything crazy we could get. I don't think... Okay, energy is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I could even put a 3rd energy here, just because I am, like, that confident this could live that turn. And let me boss KO Iron Thorn, because, oh no, it can KO us because of the damage boost from these guys. So let me do that, and do I want a Rod here? We got 2 energy and a Scyther. It's not bad. You know what? Could help Metang hit a little harder. Let me do it. And let me keep my Pokemon in play. Make sure they're in the deck. I could draw into them. And let me Bibarel for 2. Let me Bibarel for 2. See if we could get anything decent off here. Rod and Energy. Not bad, not bad. Not exactly what I needed, but that's fine. I needed a boss. If I got, like, boss or Prime Catcher, that would have been the most insane, like, absolutely rolled our opponent if we got boss, because I don't think they're taking a KO here. So we're going to take 2 more prizes, and we're going to get Iono and Ultra Ball off them, which is actually, you know what? That might be even better, because I can Ultra Ball to get a second Bibarel in play. I'm pretty sure we have 2 in the deck, and they have Research. Alright, not bad, not bad. So our opponent's swinging for how much damage right now? 2, 4, 6, 8. So they're swinging for 120. Yeah, I don't even think they're KOing us. So if I could dig for Prime Catcher, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And I'm going to try. Oh my, never mind. We could just take KOs. Now that they got the 4th Iron Crown in play, we're taking some massive KOs with Scizor, the single prizer, because of Punishing Scissors. They got 4 abilities in play. We're swinging for what? 200. Yeah, actually a lot of damage. 210, I think. Oh, so we're not one-shotting anything, but I think that's all right. For now, let me attach the energy here. I'm going to Ultra Ball away Mew and probably Iono, because I'll research to dig for Prime Catcher if anything. And let me take a second Bibarel. That's not Bibarel. Take a second Bibarel, make sure Prime Catcher's in the deck before I start digging for it. It is, so that's perfect. That is exactly what we wanted to see there. And I could evolve the Bibarel. I can, what do I want to do here? Probably research. I could Metal Maker first. And then if I see Prime Catchers on the bottom of the deck, I could Super Rod. But I think this will increase our chances more if it's anything but Super Rod. So let's take the energy out of the deck. It's just something I don't necessarily want to draw into, but I do like having on Scizor. And I don't want to shuffle the deck because I know the bottom 4 cards aren't Prime Catcher. So I'm just going to research here, try to thin more after this to get Prime Catcher. And it doesn't seem like I'm going to be that fortunate. So that's all right, though. Because I still think we're in a great spot. I am, honestly, just going to... You know what? Codebreaker Ciphering guarantees us game next turn. Because we can just take Prime Catcher off that. So... Oh, but I won't be swinging for KO. Because we'll be losing Scizor EX. Unless we got it in the deck. We got it in the deck. So you know what? I could just take it here. And if we hit 1 energy off Metang... Although we have so many energy down. I could just Ciphermaniacs for... energy and Prime Catcher. Let me make sure 1's in the deck. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I've got game in hand, which is nice. And I could Bibarel. Let me just see if the top card is Prime Catcher. It's not, but that's alright. I like where we're sitting a lot, because I think now, no matter what, we're chilling. So let's swing to 40. I can... You know what? I don't even really need to. I could just swing 120, keep the energy. I doubt they... Like, they have to take 3 prize cards off this with Iron Hands. I feel like that's the only thing they can do. So, I don't need to put 2 energy in discard, though, in case they don't for some reason. I'll just leave 1 energy on it so I can attack next turn if that's a play they choose. That would be really dumb. Like, really dumb. And I think we're just so far ahead at this point, we should be fine. So, I was thinking what we could do is go for a... Actually, yeah, we had to go for a second Scizor play this turn. Because if they take 3 prizes off this, and there's the Iono, so that hurts a bit. We did have game in hand. Hopefully we could get Scizor EX and energy in play. Metagross doesn't help. But we do have 2 Bibarels as well as Metal Makers, so there's a chance. There's a chance we could come out of this on top still. But, oh, Counter Catcher. Wait. Oh, why would they do that? Wow. Oh my god, that blew my mind. I thought for sure they would have took 3 prizes off Scizor EX, but they chose not to. So, I'm going to promote Scyther. It's got free retreat, so I can swing with whoever I need. If I get boss, I could KO Mew. Or anyone, because now we're swinging for, what, 200, oh my god, 5 times 6, 300, yo, we're swinging for insane math right now. Oh my god. 5 times 6, oh, excuse me, 5 times 5, 250, plus 10, 260 damage. So that's where the 6 in my brain came from. I'm just not good at using my words, which is pretty typical for me if I do say so myself. And there's Prime Catcher Ultra Ball. Oh my, yo, this deck is cracked. This deck is actually disgusting. I mean, like, yeah, I know we went 1 and 2. I didn't get a perfect record, but like I had game and oh, I don't want to evolve that. Then I threw. We want to retreat, but I got the Ultra Ball. I got everything I needed, so I'm doing stuff for no reason because I'm kind of blanking on it. All we needed was Energy Prime Catcher, but I had the Scizor as well for whatever reason in my mind I wanted it. So let's just play the Prime Catcher. Oh, gosh. You know what I just realized? Oh, no, we're fine. I used a single prize Scizor. Alright, I low-key threw. I shouldn't have retreated. I should have just played Prime Catcher first. But, man, I'm a absolute mess right now. We want to use Scizor single prize. And we could even Bibarel if we wanted to, but we're just going to swing 260. So, we are chilling for sure. I was like, I had the play mapped out. I'm like, oh, I could use a single prize, or it's cool. Like, it does more damage, so it's more fun because it did 20 more damage. But then I'm like, oh my god, I threw. I retreated before Prime Catcher. It's just all over the place right now. It's early in the morning for me, and early morning gaming, not the way to go a lot of the time. But we're going to clutch up the second win for an insane showcase with the single prize Scizor. I almost wish it was the main card shown right there because that's what I built the deck around. But I don't hate seeing Scizor EX. I mean, it was a clutch card as well. We used it every single game. We also used a single prize one every game. I mean, the synergy with these and literally just ONE Metang and Bibarel. That's all you need. I mean, this deck was awesome. If you need to give it a shout, I think it's a great deck. The deck list will be down below, as well as my community Discord server. So if you made it this far in the video, and you like my videos, you want to play with me in the future, you want to give me some ideas, you want to just hang out, need some help deck building from me and my buddies, join the Discord server down below. We'd love to help you guys out. Thank you so much for all the support recently. I am seriously, like, so happy to have such a great community. I can't express how thankful I am for you guys, so thank you very much. Thanks for staying tuned this long. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.